हेलो फ्रेंड्स, नमस्ते। स्वागत है आपका मेरे इस पॉडकास्ट में, दैट इज रिस्पॉन्सिबली ट्रैवल। वी आर हियर इन द सेकेंड पार्ट ऑफ दिस पॉडकास्ट. थैंक यू फॉर योर response to my first podcast where we had focused on New Zealand. Now I have for this podcast my alumnus, Mr. Joshua Dsilva. He is been one of the energetic student who used to try various areas. He is into finance, he is into hospitality, he is into jewelry design, and many more such activities. He has done his master's, he has done his graduation in hospitality hotel management, and now he is traveling the world. So I thought he's the right person for you to know his experiences, how to travel responsibly. So before we start with the podcast, I request my guest, Joshua Dsilva, to please introduce yourself and let us know about your home country.
Right. Absolutely. Thank you so much for the warm welcome. And so, everyone, not going to take a lot of time in introducing myself, but very much like I'm someone who always believes in no limits. That's always my tagline. That is, dream it till you make it. And to talk more about myself, is I come from a family of four siblings in total. I mean, we have four kids, wherein we all have been segregated in different parts. And my special expertise are retail, marketing, financing, and also hospitality. And right now, I've been associated with a US-based company, which is a jewelry company, which is into the retail division, which is called a Iffy Jewelry, and we are associated only with the cruise lines. So we have over 150 cruise ships with over 10 different cruise lines, such as we have the Carnival Corporation that includes Carnival Cruise Lines. We have Royal Caribbean, Princess, and Seaborn, and we also have Four Seasons as well, and many more. And that's how the list keeps going. But these are our top five people who we are associated with, and in which I work for a ultra luxury segment cruise lines, which is called Seaborn. And Seaborn is a company that has been known to have expedition cruises, oceanic cruises as well. And I just finished my first contract, and I usually like to travel a lot. And what's more interesting is that I've been to the most exotic places of the world, such as South Georgia, Easter Islands, and Antarctica, in which, I would always love to share my experience about Antarctica today and furthermore. So that's how it is. Over
Wow,
to you.
very impressive, Joshua. So you are traveling the world, and I'm really happy to see you traveling, getting the exposure of the world, what is there, and you are getting the right learning when you travel. So you're traveling
Right.
abroad. I just want to know what made you to take this traveling activities and which are the places you have been, the countries.
I had a very simple thing. I have a very simple mindset and a very simple, thinking. Is I had a one simple thing is that if you like something, you have to know how to monetize it. That's my main, goal, right? So what I usually do is I think first of all, like for example, how it all started with the traveling is this would be very rare to even listen, but I took a lot of inspiration from this film, which is a Hindi-based film called Dil Dhadakne Do. So
Hmm.
it's a family of how people go in a cruise lines and do this. And back then, I used to be associated with a retail company here in Bangalore, is because I used to do part time when I was in my college, and I took inspiration seeing that, retail jobs are always fun because I always consider it to be the LinkedIn premium, the
Hmm, it
physical
is.
LinkedIn premium, because you get to connect with a lot of people with different mindsets, with different requirements, and the learning never stops there. And yeah, I mean, there are some, um, the other side of it where, especially in, you know, like Asian countries where retail jobs are not really well to be more like a white collar jobs. But that doesn't matter for me, is because ultimately I always believe in, if you like something and if you're doing it with passion, you tend to live longer than if you're just working for the society. Like, that is what I've recognized for the past many years, like almost more than 10 years. So it inspired me to travel the world, and I said, if I have to travel, I have to get paid to travel. So
Hmm.
that was my main thing. Like, I always like to monetize my time, wherein like, I like to monetize my interests. So if I like to do something, I always try to first is make money out of it. So I had that mindset. I said, okay, cruise lines is the best one. And fortunately, this happened back in 2021, wherein we go to a family vacation in Goa with our parents and everything. And the head of the CRM asks, like, all a family, oh, here's your kid, here's a son, here's a daughter, and what do you want to do? And I mean, sometimes it so happens that, like, you might not be interested to go to a place with your family, but you never know that it sometimes changes the whole scenario, right?
Right, right.
So it happens wherein we meet the head of CRM, and she was the one who used to work for the very same company, but due to some personal issues, she had to leave that job and work on land itself. So I still remember saying that I like to work in retail, but I don't know if retail role is available in the
Hmm.
cruise lines. That's why I am trying my best to go in the hotel departments. So that's where I was guided, saying that nope, there are a lot of retail roles available in the ships as well, so you can go and fulfill all your dreams. I said, okay, that sounds great. So that's how it is. But when it comes to places traveled, it was a very amazing thing. Is when I got my first contract, I saw we are going to do a crossing from Fiji to South America, and from South America we are going to do the Chilean fjords, Patagonia,
Wow.
and Antarctica as well. And I was so I basically started off my contract in Fiji, which is Latoka, and that was on the 27th of September. It was a Saturday. So I started off there, and we had been to the Fiji Islands, such as Drowny Islands, and these few islands. So once we entered French Polynesia, which is Tahiti, so that's also more like an expedition places, because it's a very small island where it's completely dominated with the French culture, and it's over there. And after which we were going through a crossing, which you will have different various exotic islands where you'll have a maximum civilization of just 45 people living over
Hmm.
there with no
Nice,
internet,
nice, nice. So
with
in this
thing
podcast, we will
exact.
be discussing about Saint George and Antarctica. As you said, we will be
Yes,
discussing more about that.
correct.
Yes. So I just
That is
wanted,
basically the one which I was over there for the majority of my contract.
wow.
So I would love to share over that. So
So I
yes.
want you to please let us know about Antarctica and Saint Georgia. What are the custom difference you saw there? And what you have learned in that particular place when you have been as a tourist. So, the cultural differences and the customs you learned, if you can share with us.
So I'll share one thing is, sorry, I mean, just to correct you, it's South Georgia, because that's actually a place where it's completely isolated. So, but when it comes to Antarctica, to say the cultural difference is the main thing is, I would say it's just an place where there's no population, like it's no civilization. But so what happens is when someone goes to Antarctica, it's more like you're in, you're in the ocean. So these places are more like in ocean beds. You have nothing, like you don't have any cultural norms and all that, but you got to follow the environmental norms. That is,
Hmm.
like, so what happens is, like, we had a home port which is called Ushuaia.
Okay.
A very simple way to remember is the Hanta virus that was started over there.
Hmm. Correct.
So that's where the place started, and it's called Ushuaia. But it's a very beautiful place actually. Nothing, it's an amazing thing. But when it comes to the cultural difference, I personally do not see a cultural difference in Antarctica is because there are no inhabitants living, there are no immigrants,
Mm-hmm.
or there is no civilization there. But it's more on a natural reserve. Like, you're not supposed to like go, because if I have to even simply say, like, there are no cultural differences, but there are just natural, reserve norms as well. So very simple example is you can't go, post 5 meters closer to a penguin because it
Okay.
scares them, and it is also dangerous that if they get in contact with you, it can even spread maybe different viruses or bacteria together, which are very sometimes can be even harmful. You never know that.
All right. So you mean to say places which is more bounded towards natural beauty, the environmental rules are very
Yes,
important rather than of the cultural norms which we get in the other places where it is more, what to say, filled with people. But places which is more
correct.
with environmental natural resources, the environmental laws have to be followed. So this is a point which has to be noted in this podcast is when you travel in such places, you should be well aware about the environmental norms, and you should go through the norms about for these places and then try to abide there and try to work in such a way that nobody is pointing out your mistake. So I just want to ask you with this word mistake, did you ever accidentally make a cultural mistake there in this place when you have been?
Not really. So here is one surprising thing is so what happens is like in when you're in Antarctica, it's like you have no mistake. Like you can't have the word mistake is because everyone is watching you. And what happens is like, let's say if I was a guest, it would be a different scenario. Okay, maybe there are some rules and there are some fines you got to pay. But because I am a crew member in the cruise lines who work for the cruise lines, so the word mistake, it doesn't ever exist in the
Right.
dictionary is what I would say. Is because what happens is so here is a fact with cruise lines like these, because these are expedition cruise, that particularly these ships only do expedition. They don't do like the New York cruises or the
Hmm.
US cruises or the Caribbean cruises or all these things. It does cruises like Amazon forest or the Arctic Ocean
Wow.
or the North Pole, the Northern Lights, or the South Pole, which is Antarctica, and the Patagonia as well, or the South Pacific Ocean crossing. So all these things. So what happens is these places, these particular ships have very particular rules. Is that if a crew member does a mistake, the crew member is completely banned from that
Hmm.
particular cruise line.
Oh
So
my
we
God.
can't actually go to that any. Like for example, like to even give you a simple example, is there are total 5 ships. So out of the 5 ships, if I do a mistake in these 2 ships, because we have 2 expedition ships, one does a North Pole and one does a South Pole. So the word mistake never exists is because if we do a mistake, we can't even go in the other 3 ships there also in our career.
Oh wow.
So these are, but that's how it is. Like cruise lines
Oh,
are more strict when it comes to the norms, is because the cruise line themselves pay a lot of money to the Treaty
right.
of Antarctica, to the South Georgia government, is because it is ruled by the UK government in
Right.
South Georgia. So what happens is there people expect you to follow their norms. Like they're like completely strict with it. And because of this, we have a team called the expedition team
Okay.
that are consisted with geologists, PhD holders,
Okay.
and many more. Like these are all like the expert people who come on board to give lectures about to the guest and to the crew member, and to give
Hmm.
training on how to behave on those places and how to exactly do that and what rules you have to follow. So these are not just a regular tour guide, I would say. And there is a separate process that works. It's called the expedition role.
Okay.
So they have to, it's more like you're sharing your expertise.
So you
Like
mean
a
to say,
geologist will come.
you mean to say when you went as a crew, a person, so all the rules were earlier informed to you and
Yes,
you were asked to follow those rules? Any mistake is not accepted, right? So
yes,
this is a very good
absolutely.
point. This is a very good thing which you have brought to our notice, that when we visit any places and if it is such a eco-fragile areas, the rules have to be abided. There is no scope of any mistakes and no scope of any apology in such places. So
Exactly.
when we go further to our discussion, I just want to know that, say, you have said you have not done any mistakes and there is no scope of mistake. So according to you, what does responsible tourism mean? And have you seen any examples of respectful tourists?
100%. Because so here's the most craziest, mind-blowing fact when it comes to places like Antarctica and South Georgia. So I would say the most responsible tourist I've ever seen. So that is one thing. Like the reason is because, let's say now, so what happens is like now, let's say if you were in, you were a traveler,
Mm.
right? So today morning you wake up and I mean, let's because these are all HNIs. The
Mm.
ones who travel are
Yes.
literally HNIs. Is because
Yes.
Antarctic cruise is not a just a thing wherein I wake up today morning as a Sunday and I'm sipping tea, early in the morning, and I suddenly get the thought saying that, okay, after 2 months, actually, I'm on vacation, so let me go somewhere. Okay, let me go to Antarctica. That doesn't happen here. To go to Antarctica, you got to book the cruise 2 years in advance,
Oh,
and sometimes
okay.
1.5 years.
My
The
God.
waiting list of Antarctica is very long. It's
Mm.
extremely long. It's because in the Antarctic government, there are some certain number. I'm not exactly sure with the number, but through what I've known is that only somewhere roughly about 2 lakh to 3 lakh people can only visit once a year.
The carrying capacity they
Like,
have.
yes, the carrying capacity, the visiting capacity of Antarctica.
Nice. Okay.
So there's a number, but I'm not exactly sure with that particular number, but this is what it is. And once a number crosses, the bookings completely go stop. In which that's why there is only certain particular time wherein the cruise lines can go over there.
Okay.
And fun fact is, our cruise is the only one cruise in the whole industry that you take a zodiac and you
Mm-hmm.
go to. So zodiacs are like these small boats, the small boats that take the passengers from the actual ship, and they go to the Antarctic land, wherein you can walk on the ice, you can visit the Antarctic lands. We are the
Okay.
only cruise lines who do that. So what happens here, the demand gets very much extensive, and people pay almost $60,000 to $70,000  2 years in advance, 3 years in advance, just to visit for a 10 days of cruise line. So it is very, so what happens is people who has, obviously, as a person who has booked like that, I would say, acting responsibly has to be in your genes. Like there is nothing that, because if you're waited for so long, like
Well,
I would say it is always important to be responsible. So that is what I've seen in people, and they share it to us saying that, like, you guys are grateful, like the crew members are lucky that you guys like don't need to wait, but you guys just go and enjoy. And wherein we hear that people really like wait for a long time.
well said, Joshua. So much of information you have. I'm really impressed. The massive information you are sharing with us about. I want to correct. It is South Georgia and Antarctica. So now,
Yes.
yes, the thing is, when you said the responsibility lies with the tourist and it should be then embedded inside. So, when we talk about this responsibility as a tourist, was there any local community in these places and what a tourist can contribute to the local communities there?
100%. So what happens is in Antarctica, as we mentioned, so there is nothing like the local communities and all of that. It's all contract-based scientists and all of that. So definitely, it is just tourism. And when it comes to South Georgia, there are some places wherein what happens is these are like completely millionaires or all these very high net worth individuals who own part of the island,
Oh,
wherein they are from the UK government. So they are a part of the UK citizens. So what happens is they are like completely HNIs as well, who have been settled there for a long time, or they had their ancestors' wealth or something like that. I mean, because to what I've understood is that there are few islands in South Georgia that have these communities, the local communities. So what happens is in South Georgia as well, again, there are some places where you can only visit. Like you have the Salisbury Bay, I mean the Salisbury Plain, wherein it's a massive colony of penguins, worth like 2 lakhs of penguins you'll get to see, and king size penguins. It's a massive thing,
I saw your
and
video. I saw your video. That's really nice.
yes,
Some pictures also. So, in the last
exactly,
of this podcast, I would request you to share your YouTube channel or whatever social media channel you have,
100%.
and we will share it with
Right,
the viewers here. Yeah, so please go ahead with that.
right.
Yes.
So that is how it is. And there are some places, as I was saying, you have like the UK government allows the all the cruise lines to go in certain things. Again, you got to pay like every guest has to pay like £150 per person for that just 3-4 days of visit as a visa charge.
Okay.
And what happens is like it goes like, but let's say now if a ship approaches a particular private island, which is a part of the, so the land belongs to the UK government, but
Okay.
the vast majority is taken by the localites. So again, if they have to go there, people again pay. So it's completely like, if you have to really visit the local tourists, and which is, part of the expedition team's plan. So it is, but again, it has no guarantee that you will visit these places. It's based on climate conditions, it's based on the traffic of the marine, and it's also based on the guest and the guest types that you have.
Okay. So
So
when you
that's
said
how it is.
climate condition, what is the best time to travel here?
The best ever time to travel is during the summer,
Okay.
which is roughly from the November to mid of March.
Okay. So,
So this is the best time if you like, having sun, and definitely is because I mean, I would say, a country like India, a country like UAE, or these tropical aspects. These are the privileged country that where we have very good sunlight, very well balanced weather,
right.
and all of that.
Right.
But a country like maybe let's say US or Europe, where people struggle to get sun. So that's why these tourists, have specifically, and definitely, a Carnival Corporation being a US-based company will definitely only go towards its summertime,
Okay.
because most of the world, what I've personally seen is that majority of the people in the world prefer the summer is because they are not
They,
privileged, are they are not that
right.
privileged to
Right.
have a weather like India, where
Yes.
we have amazing weather and everything like that.
Right. So, Joshua, I want to ask you how these social influencers, you are also now part of some channels, some social media pages,
Right.
how these social media influencers can uh, contribute towards sustainability, bring in the right tourist behaviors. And do you think tourists are really working towards sustainability? So, just little bit information from your end and some advice to the tourists.
Okay, I'll be very honest about this is to what I've understood. So one thing is has me being myself being an influencer itself is even though I'm a small creator, but it's still it influences. One view is still you're influencing one person. That one person will again definitely influence other people as well, right?
Right.
So I would say that actually, and me being an influencer, it is not my duty to train people on how to behave. Like as an influencer, I'm just influencing that there is a place. So this is how you should behave, and this is how I've done this, and this I'm sharing my experience. But I can't actually keep micromanaging tourists. So if I do that, it doesn't turn out to be a tourism. It completely turns out to be a micromanaging sector where people share like just control. You have to behave like this. I would say to be in sustainability or as a responsible tourist, it should come within,
Mm-hmm.
and it will only come within is when people have waited for a long, for example, like the guest who I have met. So they have been responsible tourism is not because they are from the US where the laws are strict. They are responsible is because they have been waiting for a long time. So definitely they know that if they mess it up, if they don't follow rules, they are also going to be having a blacklist guest as a thing because they are not following the laws of the marine protocols.
Yeah,
So that's how it is.
but the thing is, like when we see generally people from other continent, other places, when they travel, they are not used to of such cultures, and they feel that okay, now when we have paid, we should enjoy to the core, right? Their
Right.
the noise, the way they behave, and everything changes. So uh, I want to pass on a message from this podcast that whosoever social influencers are there, when they put up their information about such places, some note if they write, okay, this places is restricting these behaviors, or this places don't like these behaviors, some rules and norms that may create some impact in the tourist behaviors, because when they watch their reels, they definitely want to go to that place. So if one note from any social influencer passes, and especially social influencers with high number of people following them,
All
so yes,
correct.
that may work, Joshua. So I just wanted to ask in that perspective. And as you said that you
Mm,
are doing your work, when you pass on some information, one person gets influenced by seeing that reel. Well said. So it
exactly.
was nice having you, Joshua, here. And I
No
would
problem in that.
request you to please tell to our viewers about your YouTube channel name and whatever social
Right.
media pages you have, so that they can watch to see those beautiful penguins pictures. I would request you to share that with me also, so that I can put it here in our podcast.
Absolutely. I mean, I'll definitely share all the pictures and definitely my YouTube's channel name is Joshua Dsilva and YNT. That's Y for Young and T for Tango. And you can just find me. And again, um, this is just my original OG YouTube channel wherein I keep posting about gaming, about my life, about travel, and what I do.
Nice.
So my
Nice.
niches are not very particular, and that is one thing. And one of the last message I would always want to pass on to every viewer, especially we Indians, not to be racist, but this is what I observed one thing when I was in Ushuaia, which is in Argentina, is one of the biggest learning culture that I've ever seen is language should never be a problem in the country.
Right.
Is So one thing is because I would say that yes, now I understand that I'm speaking in English, but I always will definitely encourage people to speak in their local language.
Your
But
point,
if
I
I
would
have
like to tell
majority,
you, is English is a
exactly,
must. But the thing is, when you go to such places, try to learn their small local words. Like when I have been to Fiji,
local words,
they used to
exactly,
wish people with word bula, and we also respond back bula, like how here
exactly,
in India we
yes,
say namaste, namaskaram, like that. So that makes the tourist, like that is the guest, and the host connected,
absolutely,
and they
yes,
feel okay, yes, we are responding in that way, they feel happy about it. So very well said that try to connect with the local people with their language, learn something before you visit the place, browse. Now everything is
right,
available with in ChatGPT itself. If you just type a prompt, it will give you dialects, so just go through
absolutely.
it. Very well said, Joshua.
And
Th-
because I experienced this is because when I remember we had for one cruise, which is a 10 days, we had the majority of a Chinese guest, and this is my experience when they themselves, said that, "Oh, you're from India, Namaste." I really feel happy about
yes,
that.
yes, that's true.
Like, I
It's connect
mean,
with people.
that is one thing.
Mm. Yeah.
Exactly. And I would say is that if you really feel when someone says Namaste, I'll say it is better to also abide in their language and learn something. And again, me being an Indian, I've seen a lot of people like talk, say that, okay, you're in Karnataka, you have to speak Kannada or something that I would say I would support that particular topic right now because,
So Joshua,
some people do a
with the interest
controversy
of
on that.
time, I'll just summarize our podcast is uh, try to learn the culture of the place. Just Google or find
Exactly.
out about the local language, learn, abide the rules wherever you step in, and connect with local people and try to follow all the norms which are listed in that particular place.
That's
Thank you so much for being
exactly.
our guest, Joshua. I loved hearing you and
No
your
problem.
experiences. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, and see you again, guys. Have a great day.